What's up?
What is up?
Struggling?
Woo! Struggling. It's been a weekend, Sometimes it's been the best of times. Sometimes it's the worst of times. And this weekend was an interesting time. Sometimes you get stomach bugs. Sometimes you eat things. Sometimes you live, and sometimes you don't. So
one time you don't. Yeah.
Anyways, no, it's all good. It's sunny outside, which is beautiful. It was a beautiful 70-something degrees this weekend. Got to get the kids out. The parents are happy. We're happy. As much as I can be with this stomach bug. Meme coins are going crazy. I was in Twitter all weekend basically, and now I'm, back to real life.
Back to reality. Back to reality.
In real life.
Nice.
Yeah. So how are you? What's good with you?
Good, man. We had wife and I went to Dan and Shay concert Friday night, which was fun.
Who?
Dan and Shay. They're like they're country, I guess. But you know how like any new country, it's like there's a lot of like
little popish, little pop,
yeah. But they were great. Yeah, they're good. They're what judges on like the show The Voice or whatever. So they're somewhat interesting. They're interesting on there, however real stuff is on TV, on shows like that. You don't know, but they seem like that they like each other. And the crowd went bananas. We had good seats. It was a fun time.
There you go. And bananas are good. Everybody loves bananas.
Yeah, had a couple White Claws and slept terribly. It's okay.
Sounds good. How was everybody's weekend?
Yeah,
what's up out there? Comments? What's up? We're doing this new thing where we're using like emojis. Shoot me an emoji and let me know how your weekend was. Palm trees, sun, rain.
What was that? I can't even.
Sad faces, knife. Whatever. Whatever's popping.
Knife. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Money sign. I don't know. Whatever. Things happen.
What?
Don't be afraid.
So was anyone else meme coining this weekend with Kevin?
Was anybody else stuck in charts, looking at charts, meme coining, asking their wife to just leave them be so they could just like make generational wealth? Please leave us alone. Yeah. Me? Bradley's here. There you go.
What's up, Bradley?
Always shining, Bradley.
Talk to Bradley on Friday.
So what happened was, I'll tell you guys a story, okay? I'm a degen. I'm your favorite degen's favorite degen, okay? And what happened was, as being a degenerate, I am also a blockchain recruiter. I've been in Web3 for like, 4 years now. I've been a degen for like 6, okay? Recovering, okay? So here's what happened. What happened was this NFT artist puts out this message on Twitter, and he's like, hey, and I'm going to explain something. This has already been done. Like what I'm going to explain is not novel. This is not new. So I'm just going to let you know the degeneracy of what we do. So he puts out this tweet and he's like, hey, I have this address where I'm going to ask you guys to send me as much money as you want. And maybe I'll probably send you some money back. Like when it's all done, I'll probably send you some money. So what he's asking, okay, is to send your money into a black hole. You have no idea what's going to happen in the hopes that something happens back. Okay. And here's what happened. If you had sent him anywhere between $30,000 to $30,000, you would have netted anywhere between $800,000 to $800,000 back, like just in airdrop. I sent him $50. I was like, just a joke. I was like, he's an NFT artist, I know. So I was like, whatever. I'm already a gambler anyway. I mean, look, ticket, lottery tickets, whatever. Press the button, gone. Okay. I wake up. Twitter is going fucking crazy, y'all. Fucking crazy. Like bananas berserk. Everybody I know is euphoric. Like they're talking about, I'm doing this. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I go to my wallet It was real. This gentleman, crazily, I'm not going to say the amount, but I'm just going to tell you, it was anywhere between $7,000 and $800,000. And then what happened was like something out of a movie, okay? Because it was the most egalitarian airdrop ever, right? 70,000 people. So here's what happened. Excuse me. 30,000 people sent him money, which is crazy. Okay, that just tells us how crazy we are. But that means 30,000 people got an airdrop of a token that we're absolutely not going to sell. Hell no, they were not going to sell. They just made a ridiculous amount of money. So then all that happened all weekend was this market cap went from 50 billion to 100 to 200 to 300 to 400. It got up to $1.7 billion. And I don't know anybody who understands market caps, but when I got in at $57 million, it went 17 times more. Now, am I smart enough to have stayed 17 times? No. I was taking profits along the way because that's what you do when you've been here before. It's not all or nothing. You got to keep some, right? But again, I know somebody personally, that in 7 hours made $1.7 million and is literally thinking of the 2 homes they're going to buy and like they're texting me of the homes they're going to buy now. But like it was generational wealth for like tens of people I know. Legitimately know. Like have had conversations, shook their hand. This actually happened. And then it happened 24 hours later. I'm just off. It's 6 minutes in. I'm gonna tell the story real quick. Okay. So then all of a sudden,
it's okay. I did put on the promo. We're talking crypto.
Okay. So all of a sudden now everybody's doing pre-sales, as you can imagine, right? Every NFT artist is like, I should drop a coin. So everybody's doing pre-sales. Okay. So now that meta, but now there's all these scams happening, all these scams, right? Okay. So 24 hours later, this NFT artist named Slurf, another respected NFT artist, puts one out. He has a developer, okay, that creates the coin. In the contract when creating the coin, there is the I'm gonna try to make it as like easy to understand. When you send money to a contract, there's the coin, okay, that you sent, but then there's also there's a liquidity pair. So you know what? I'm gonna mess you guys up. Don't worry about it. Basically, what happened was, okay, $30 million was sent to this address for this NFT artist. He fat fingered and made a mistake and accidentally deleted $30 million instead of, it's called a liquidity pair. Whenever you put in a contract, you have to have another pair of another token to pair to make it liquid. Instead of burning the nonsense liquid token, he burned the whole allocation. He burned $30 million of people's money. And then because we're degens, the coin still dropped. It dropped at $7 million. And then people bought it and it went to $2.1 billion in 7 hours. Do y'all, again, just real quick, okay? If you put $50 as a joke, because that's what we do here, it'd have been upwards of $25,000 in 7 hours for $50 of just joking around. And that's where we're at in the space, guys. This is where we're at in the NFT space. This is where we're at in the meme coin space. And now, if you look at the news, you're going to hear them saying things like dog with hat. They're saying things like slurf. They're saying meme coin names on traditional finance news, and it's hilarious to people like us.
That is amazing.
And that's what happened.
Little disappointed I didn't add $50 to my wallet, Kevin, and I didn't get a text from you, but that's okay.
Hey, I missed it. I was not, after the whole other thing, I was like, okay, this is not happening again. I think it's, don't worry, Clark. You'll be getting a text from me because this ain't the end of it, I'll tell you. Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is just the beginning. And that was what my weekend was like.
That's a great story.
And you know what? I have this beautiful wife that I texted. We're doing all this family stuff. And I was like, hey, I've got 6 hours to make generational wealth. Can we just, and she was like, boo, do you, I'm out. Peace.
You gotta love the ride or dies.
I do. She's love you, boo.
Katie.
She's a keeper. I know. I am. I will.
God bless Katie.
No, I will. I got this.
Dealing with you, yeah. Bradley would like a text too. I think we might just be left with Bradley after the crypto talk.
So and I do.
Bradley's getting a text.
I do want to say this. I was bull posting all weekend, Bradley. I literally. I'll show you the. I'll show you the text if I get your number. I have 5 or 6 text messages from friends that are thanking me because they bought at sub $100 million market cap. They're like, "Yo, saw your posts, and I'm a 10,000-aire. Thank you." So I made a couple 10,000-aires. Yes.
Oh, that's what we do. All right. Well, guys, keep coming back to this because you do not know.
You never know what's awesome alpha.
Our crazy ass is just showing up here on Mondays and Fridays. You don't know what's gonna happen. Wait, you ready for this? Wait, are we ready to pivot yet or no?
Oh.
Okay, because all right. We got a shoe reveal. I got one today.
You got one?
I got one today. Got a new shoe for balling. May or may not be for me. We got the 2 T's and 1s.
Oh,
for my son Wyatt.
Shoot,
dude.
There's no way, dude.
Yeah,
there's
threes.
no way.
They're 3s.
There's no way I'm beating those.
There's 3s.
There's no way.
Yeah,
those are beastie.
I got another one for you this week too.
Those are beastie.
But yeah, these are
pretty fly.
He's taking some steps with the rail and stuff like that. So he's getting going. We're getting used to going outside. So the little guy needs some shoes.
Since I got the penny, I'm wearing the Penny Hardaways. Got the, penny.
Remember Little Penny?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. Got to wear the Penny Hardaways, baby. Classic. Do you remember
I remember his $100 million contract, of which he played 8 games.
He was my favorite player.
He was so good.
He was my favorite player.
He
was going to be the next. He wasn't like Michael. He had more of like a Magic LeBron game because he was more of a passer. But man, he was dynamic. Oh
yeah, he was insane.
He's like a Grant Hill. Like, they would have been.
They were. I mean, it was the shame, right? Both of the same team and hurt the whole time. It was crazy.
It's just a shame.
It was
good
crazy.
Shoe reveal today. That was all right.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit. You had no right to flash that amount of heat, Bradley. We do what we do. We do what we do. I think it might just be us 3, but we're having a great time.
Probably it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, anything else going on in the comments? Who do we got here? What are we working on this week? What are we thinking about? Is it crypto? Is it sales? Is it annoying hiring managers? Do we have great hiring managers?
Hopefully.
We had one digital recruiter get a text this morning. It's like, I think you're maybe the best recruiter I've ever worked with. I always like when people in the program get that because they have more time to spend on the actual job because their systems are dialed in and their approach is dialed in. That was fun to get this morning. What else is going on?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're in spring. Like it kind of feels like we're in the spring. It feels like things. Go ahead. What's up?
I'm sorry. I have something to say after you go though. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it just
caffeine hit.
Like it was nice on the East Coast last week. We were, you were talking about the 70s and sun. Now this week it's over here, and I got my little week. I know it's gonna get back to ugly again because that's how it goes. But it feels like that's kind of the energy. It feels the energy on my timeline. It feels like spring flowers. Little bit of sunshine coming in. It feels that way on the timeline with business and everything.
I'm with you. Ended my week last week. I'm bringing something up. My last call Friday was incredible with just a awesome agency owner and his president, and they were great. He mentioned, I've been following your stuff for 18 months. They'd worked with someone else and it kind of got burned a little bit. And he hopped on the call and was like speaking my language the whole time. And this agency does, they've been at times closer to 8 figures than they are 6 figures, and mostly direct hires. So impressive. And it's always very validating when you hear that, like just someone's approach and how they sign clients and how they build partnerships. And they took so much pride in their account management skills with clients, right? Getting more market share from their clients. And I'm like, but they just hadn't tapped into that LinkedIn piece yet, right? With the automation, with the content, with the profile. I'm like, So I was just like, I can't wait, right, to get working with them. And it's always fun when people like that really resonate, take the time to book a call and reach out and just like, hey, we feel really good about where we're at, but like we know this piece can help elevate where we're at. I'm like, that's what we're here for. Right. Like we do a lot of the sales coaching and all that piece, and some of their team kind of needs it. He also was mentioning, hey, my team, I can talk to all blue in the face, but they're probably going to listen to someone like you more than to listen to me. And it's also kind of a hilarious realization. It's just true. Sometimes, right? It's almost like a parent, right? Like parent like keeps saying over and over, and then the teacher says it or the coach says it. They're like, oh yeah, coach said this. And Kevin's like, I've told you this for 4 years, right, or whatever. And so
pride can be
there's a very real piece,
prideful
in
people.
terms of who you learn from. So that was fun. I got this awesome email from someone that just bought the course, not even the content piece, dude, just the course. I don't even know. I don't think I can share the tab. I'll probably have to put it in the screen, but I can read it to you. So he's 3 weeks of implementing the sales mastery course. Here's what I've been able to accomplish by showing up and applying what I've learned. Contingency job order 30% exclusive. Keep in mind, after he says this, he goes, literally the experience, the last 4 months of working on business development and zero results for what I worked for last year before. I was losing my mind. And I was searching for corporate recruiting jobs. That's how bad it got. Buys a course, $500 or something like that. And contingency order 30% exclusive, 3 candidates scheduled to interview already, a retained search at 30%. So he's already gotten paid and gotten much more than his money back. Nice. High level MPC interview, first interview this week, another search. He got offered a consulting role for a company because he's a subject matter expert in his industry. 2 exclusive contingency searches for another company, and 2 more retained searches starting this week. It's scheduled intake call for a job order today at 11.
Did he mention anything about the transfer? What was the change? Did he say anything? Did he?
It's been.
I mean, I know what it is. You know what it is, but I'm curious if he called it out because we've seen it so many times.
It's automation.
In fact, I posted about it today. If there's anybody here other than Bradley, who's a G, I posted about it today. It's look, how many times have we seen it? I mean, heck, you've been there. I've been there before, where you're struggling, right? You're struggling. You're grasping for straws. You're at the bottom of the barrel with everybody else trying to climb your way out. What's up?
Well, he was doing email. It was stuck on email and cold calls. So
right?
To answer your question, it was positioning, right? His profile actually looked decent when I talked to him, but he wasn't doing anything on LinkedIn. And so just getting the outreach going, and just for him, it was rethinking the way his approach and his messaging. I think building that confidence that he had value to offer the market. And that's because he booked a call with me a couple weeks ago. It was like right after he bought the program, and I was like, dude, you got your niche, like just go put the system in. You got this. You know what you're doing. You've been in the industry 30 years. You got to get the volume going. You got to connect with people in your market every day and start and giving them a chance to engage in a conversation with you.
But the approach is different on LinkedIn though, like than email, than anywhere else.
Because it can be more personal, right? And more personal. It can be more relevant. It can be a lot laid back because
it needs to be more personable.
Right. Well, and that's where, again, if you don't fix up your profile, you don't give yourself the opportunity to be relevant.
And that's why I hate profiles that the about section is like, Gary is like this, and Gary is like that, and Gary is like this. And or it sounds, we're the number one at this, and we're the fastest, and we're the best, and we're always going to be, because it alleviates the emotion, the person that's there that's actually going to be connecting with you, right? Like it's really tough to resonate with an entity. It's really easy to resonate with a human being.
Exactly. And he hasn't even posted content yet. And it's going to add a whole other thing to it. Now he's like, I got to figure out fulfillment. But again, you got the outreach and
the easiest part.
He's going to book a one-on-one consulting call with me. And we'll talk again. How do you do fulfillment, right? The recruiting strategy. That's also what blows my mind is when we show people the process and how to use the sales navigator, and the automate, like to be able to cover 3 to 4 recs at a time with just the right connection message and the right prospecting and the right list building. I mean, it's blowing people's minds what they're able to get done and just the coverage that they could have on actual fulfillment when you get your client, and then you just keep posting content, and that's your business development efforts.
That's a good question for anybody out there. Where are you spending most of your time in the process these days? Is it fulfillment? Is it in sourcing? Is it in BD? Is it in trying to figure out what you should write in that next message? Where is it? Where is it? Curious. That would be interesting. That would be an interesting question. That'd be interesting to find out. Where are people spending their time in the search the most? Like, where is it that we can alleviate that time so that you can spend it in other areas that scale you forward? Because that's what this program is about, the sales automation and content. It's coming in and auditing the process, the approach, to find where those leaks are. Where are those places that we can get strong in and give you back your time, so that you can use it in places where you are the strongest in. Maybe it's not messaging, or maybe you guys have your sales game is just on point, but you need a little bit of help in the content. Like it sounds like the gentleman that we're just talking about, right? What happens when you put all those 3 together? To Clark's point, now you can work on 4, 5, 6 recs at a time with multiple candidates, because you know where that time is going and putting it in the right places for fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean, just for anyone that doesn't believe and want to see the visual, I mean, this was what I got, and it's just, I mean, it's a great way to start my Monday morning, by the way. But I keep getting these updates from the last 3 weeks, and it's one of the coolest things. And we got some other stuff going on. We had a great video with Chris Rainey this morning that we posted, taking him from this non-existent content to a 9 on content. Sales kind of vision strategy was at a 2, now it's at a 9 because he's got a plan. And he's an interesting case because he actually, some opportunities opened up for him on the sales side because of everything that he was doing, which is really interesting. So this process will carry you through not only this industry, but anywhere you go or anything you ever decide to do. Once you know LinkedIn, you can tap into it as a gold mine. And you know the approach, and you know what works in 2024. Just like, how do you scale authenticity, which is what we always talk about.
Well, that's the amazing thing about. Well, that's it. I feel like that's the awesome thing about the conversations we have, is they extend so much further than just recruiting, and even for us, like it becomes like a whack-a-mole game because we know that, and so we know that it doesn't matter if you're in oil and gas. It's humans. We're talking with human beings. And if you're selling something, all that we teach, all the foundational pieces of what we teach will all remain true, which is, again, get them to notice you, get them to pay attention to you, get them to trust you, and convert that trust into money. Like, no trust. And so the whole process is, it's a human condition. It's a human emotion. Everything that we have to do, as long as it has to do with buying and selling, is going back to people buy things for emotional reasons and rationalize them after, and working our way through that.
Why is it so hard? And one of the things I talked about in the description we want to talk about is hiring managers, when to push back on them, when sometimes you have to concede the point. And I went through this too, but why is everything we taught is so transactional? Why do people default to that?
I'm really sure it's because a lot of the perhaps older folks that taught our generation, and maybe the one above us, they lived in a Glengarry, Glen Ross world, right? Where always be closing, because you sincerely never knew when you would see that person again. Like think about that for a second, right? And think about
less consequences.
Well, for sure, right? Because so I used to do door-to-door sales back in 2003, 4, 5, 6. Made amazing money. But the one thing I knew is when I left that neighborhood, the likelihood that person would know who I was or ever see me again, right? Probably pretty low. So it almost made it so I had to sell you here, because I'm not coming back to you. I'm not coming back to this neighborhood again. I have to go to the next one. There's 77,000 neighborhoods here. There's no way. But now, and we talk about this, the online world, and that's why it's so important, why you talk about yourself and why you create content that speaks about you, is because now you have the opportunity to have a heart and soul involved in this, in the process. And everybody has this landing page called your LinkedIn profile. So the reason why you shouldn't do it transactionally now is because more than ever, you know what's important? Your reputation. I guarantee that your reputation will be monetized as we continue on this tech world. Like that's
social credit score.
Absolute. I mean, let's
keep it. We already kind of have it.
Let's keep it. We do. We absolutely do. We cancel people all the time, and that's your reputation. So, but the same can be said about sales. Think about the best salespeople. They have great reputations online. You feel like you know them, right? Like the people that you buy from online. Even like the Jocko Willeniks, we were talking about extreme ownership. Like I can go and check out his content. I feel like I know him. Now I want to write it. Now I want to read his book. I want his products. You have that same opportunity. Same thing on LinkedIn. People are reading your writing. They're getting to know you. The better they know you, like, know, trust, convert that trust into money, the more likelihood they are to buy from you when it's that time that you might have something for them. It's that timing piece, right? Right place, right person, right time that we have to kind of figure out.
I think that's really well said.
But that was that. But I feel like that's a lot of the understanding we have to get to, right? Like, again, the reason why transactional, because it made sense. But now we have this new time in 2024 with technology and social media where the online world has made it so you should get yourself involved.
Yeah.
Like you should. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it goes into what Bradley was saying, right?
Yeah.
How do you fight the noise of recruiters that already have a transactional relationship? It's interesting, Bradley. I just got off the phone with someone earlier today that's in the same group as some of the other recruiters I've worked with. So he's known them and everything else, and knows what the program can do and like the success that his peers have had in the program. But he talked about this, like he's in healthcare, and it's how do you get through to the people where they've just been working with them for 10 years, so they don't know any better? They don't know that recruiter's lost, touch on the market, or doesn't have the pulse the same way, or one of a million other reasons. And you got to get out in front of them, right? I think, Bradley, you talked about on Friday, identifying your niche and who you're really going to go after. That cold marketing has to be really clear to a new manager. If you're going to break into that relationship, and just know that it might take time, right? I've always said, like, I always told managers, like, hey, if you have a recruiter you really like, I respect that, right? Like, I know that's what I build with my clients. So I respect that you have that partnership already with a great recruiter. If there's anything they can't kind of touch or get to, or they're struggling with, I'm your call. Like, that's what I'm here for. Instead of trying to be like, well, just build a better relationship with me because I'm better. It's like, well, they're not going to believe you, number one, and that's just arrogant. Like, they've already established it. So I think having respect for people they're already working with, because if they say stuff like that to you, that means that's how they're going to treat you if you do get your chance, which is what you want, right? And so you want to earn your chance, and so just tell them that. I get it. I respect the relationship. That's how I want my clients to react when another recruiter approaches them. So I can 100% respect that.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help if you ever need it.
Yeah. Make no assumptions and be radically candid.
Yeah.
And then to Clark's point, just increase the surface level of luck by showing up as much as you can. And then hopefully right place, right person, right time works out. Because here's the one thing you never know, Bradley. You never know when that recruiter messes it up.
Or that HR leaves, or TA leaves, or the manager leaves.
There you go. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't, like, right? Maybe they're just that damn good of a recruiter that keeps a pulse. Like that has to be a possibility too. But that should never change your approach. Your approach should always be to show up consistently as such. And then just like that, let that surface area of luck happen. And to Clark, you never, like, somebody could leave, the relationships change, like anything could happen. And then that's when you want to be top of mind. That's why just consistency.
You win it over time, as Kevin said. Absolutely. You win it over time. You trust your own process. If they're sending 20, 30, 40 resumes for one role or two roles, you talk about on content how you want people to interview 3 people per every opening, right? And you value their time and everything else. And there's a whole system. And so that manager might not pay attention on the first post, but maybe they see 5, 6, or 7. They're like,
yep.
This is a lot different than the process I'm used to.
Yep.
And what do people do, right? And I've had people do this with me all the time. They'll book a call to find out more.
Yeah.
They're like, my stuff resonates, even though they're already working with someone else. They want to talk to me.
And, to that point, I'll say, Bradley, I talk to so many hiring managers that think that believe, 100% believe that the process is to receive 20 to 30 to 40 resumes. And then I come in and I'm like, oh, because I do all the vetting on the front end. I do all the research and I make sure that I get all the, the candidates you want. And then I send you 3 to 5 because you shouldn't need to send 20 that's a lot of clutter, don't you think? Like that's a lot of time to sift through. That's what I do. And they're like, wait, what? Okay, we'll talk. And it's like, okay. And then like, what could you do with that extra time? I bet you, right? So
a lot less interviews, a lot, all that stuff. And to go into, because I want to keep going. That's a great point. And that they exist. If you don't know that they exist, they do. Number one. And number two, I talk about pushing back, qualifying good recs, but sometimes hiring managers, they are right, much to our chagrin. Or sometimes you have to be able to give them, right? So it's kind of that balance act. And we talk about always giving someone an out or knowing when to. Appreciate you, Mandy. Welcome. I don't think we've seen you comment before, so nice to see you, Mandy.
Hey, Mandy.
But again, Kevin making points as always that people agree with. And hey, well, I got you. Wait, no, hold on.
Sorry, babe. I'm not gonna break it. Oh
yeah. There it is. You guys even see it, but it went over the fence. Hopefully I didn't hit my dog. No, she's good. She's upstairs.
Feel the dreams, baby. We will build it. They will come.
Yeah. Basement of tears. No.
That was good. That was good.
Oh man.
Nah, but hey, Mandy. But I actually do want to stick there for a second. That's actually a point I made that I'd love to talk about, and that is, y'all know, y'all been there, right? You get locked into your job, things get crazy, snowballs happen. All of a sudden, it's been a year, and you're like, wait, what? Right? And you've been doing the same thing, using the same approach. You don't know if it's efficient or not. You just know that it works. It gets the job done, right? And then a year and a week later, somebody comes in and then they tell you something in your ear like, hey, you didn't have to do it that way. You could do it this way. And then like, wait, what? And like it unlocks everything because you spent a year doing that same process and it like the back of your hand. But you get this little piece of information and it completely transforms. Have that ever happened to you guys? Well, think about that when you're talking to hiring managers and they're telling you their process and approach. Oftentimes, they've never heard something different. Don't be afraid to tell them something that they've never heard. Don't be afraid. If when you're having a conversation with hiring managers, oftentimes, I really want to understand how they worked in the past, who they've worked with, how they've worked with them, so that I can understand how their approach is too. Because if I can hear them say something and I can find an efficiency, or I know I do something different, I want to bring that up to give you a different idea, a different process that I know works. And so don't be afraid to ask enough questions to find out what they've done in the past or what their approach is, so that you can inform them of what you do, because they might have never heard it. And I don't know about y'all, but I know me and Clark do this where we'll say something to each other. And I swear in that moment, I'll be like, oh my God, it all makes sense. I've had that happen with hiring managers where it's like, duh. Yeah, just send me 3 to 5. Don't send me 10. Perfect.
If you can be the one that shows them a better way, an easier way, they'll never forget you.
And they still call me back 3 years later. That's right.
Exact case in point. And those are the opportunities you want to look at as a recruiter. That's what we talk about all the time on our sales calls, even in content. We're just always looking, where is the opportunity, right? What are we seeing as opportunity? Because a lot of recruiters we coach a lot on where it actually is, where people typically gloss it over. And I know that's one of the things that we do really well. And that's what opens up the doors for so many recruiters that have results in our program. It's simply they don't even know what that opportunity looks like. As Kevin said, it's the same thing with hiring managers. They don't know that there's a better way or there's a different way. And imagine you giving them all those insights. Now, when they actually make a good point, you could tell them, yeah, we can keep doing things that way. That makes sense. Oh, but so you're going to send me 5 people, but my interview process of 3 interviews is good. Yeah, that's great. So, like, you figure out ways to kind of create those agreements early on with them that you're being blunt, you're being direct, but then you're also being able to kind of make them feel good where it's appropriate as long as it fits in the process. It does wonders. And then as you get through the submittal process, and hey, we have these candidates. Well, this looks good. Well, why? Or this doesn't look good. Well, why not? Right. And it might be someone you're excited to talk about on the screen, like, oh, they're going to love this person. And they don't like the person. Right. And so many recruiters in that moment want to push back and fight for their candidate. I start just like, okay, well, why not? Right. You have to be able to remove the emotion from it. And that's what I tell all the time. Like, remove yourself from the equation. It's the client and the candidate. Like, you have to be as neutral as you can, especially early on as you're building that trust. Like, I almost look for reasons to tell them, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But they have to make it make sense. And if they do, right, it's like they get a check mark, right? They get a little sticker. Right?
So I want to say that what you just said, we are not there to sell anybody. We have to let them buy, because the moment we sell a candidate is the moment they're going to have buyer's remorse the second they bought. And any little thing is different than what you said. Like, the littlest thing is different than the person that you said, and they didn't ask that question, but it reveals itself when they come to the work. Done. It's so important to
you want to sell based on what they've already told you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so then it's like, well, how do I get them to tell me stuff? Well, that's the magic, right?
That's the curious. That's the curiosity. That's right.
Yeah. That's it.
That's again, got like hero guide. It's not about you. It's about guiding them to what's the end result you want. The end result you want is the end result. Whoa. The end result you want is, in my opinion, 6 months later, to have a client that is still happy and excited for the work you've done after you've been paid.
Well, that's the thing. You only send them 3 to 5 people, but you show them the whole activity report.
Oh,
Kevin is transparent, but he doesn't put all the work on his clients like a lot of recruiters do. Right? You always got to be conscious of how much time am I asking of them to get to the result, because there's just kind of that in terms of getting paid, especially if you're contingent. I mean, really any pricing model. I talked to someone last week that does retained and contingent. She's like, oh, I want more retained. But then she goes, well, I have this one retained client. This thing's been open for months. I'm like, yeah, you don't really care about pricing model. You care about having better recs and better clients.
Oh, I did it on Friday. I have a new role for a very nascent role in the blockchain industry. I mean, he's not used to any activity reports. I assure you, we talked about it, but I'm sure he forgot. Friday comes. I normally, on the first week, I normally don't do one. I usually do an activity report the second week going forward, as there's some real activity. But, the first week I sent him just a text message. It was like, hey, here's who I talked to. Here's here's what my pipeline looks like. Here's the searches I put on. Here's where we're at. Here's what I'm focused on for next week. I think to voice text it probably took me like a minute and a half. He sent me like, thank you so much. This is unbelievable. Now I know exactly where we're at. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic weekend. And now he's like, done. That's it. Now he knows what I've done. He feels good. He's not getting buyer's remorse about him having done anything. And he feels informed. And like, that's what I want. I want you to feel, because you're about to pay me. I want you to feel informed about the process. And it took me a minute and a half to do it. Why not? That's honestly, that's where I get most of my referrals from. I'll keep it real. My activity reports, because they're so thorough. Just keep it real.
That's it. I mean, that's just a great example, right? Figure out how people want to be communicated with. In this case, it's text. I mean, I'm getting dangerously close. I think I just pretty much just giving everyone in the mastermind my number.
It's so much easier.
I swear to God. They can just text me anytime. Because like they'll set up calls with you one-on-one, right? You have office hours. Christina will get on a Zoom and help them with, Dripify or anything else like that. But sometimes with me, my calendar can fill up. So I schedule, right, the bi-weekly calls or sometimes the weekly calls. But a lot of times it's just like, just text me. Like what's it like? They'll send me a screenshot. How do I reply here? Whatever. Same thing. I'll do a voice memo or type it out. And it's just like the speed of getting the result. Kind of dial in. Some people are just like, oh, you got to protect your number. I don't really care. Text is easy for me. And if you're in the crew, right, like we have an established kind of trust and boundaries, although I don't really know what boundaries are. I feel like I work 24/7 Monday through Friday and I do a decent job shutting it down over the weekend. It's kind of what I realized, like my weekend hours come during the week. To be
Look,
perfectly
I
honest.
also feel like
Yeah.
boundaries. Like, look, if I give you my number, text me. I'll put myself in do not disturb mode. If you text me at 12 o'clock, I'm not gonna text you back. Hell no. But I'll text you back the next day. That's fine. It's on me. If I've given you my number, then I take ownership over that. So because again, like you don't know. Maybe something crazy happens where you're like, oh, well, I want to know.
Again,
And
being informed.
I want to know in the moment. That's right, because I can help elite. That's what I'm here for. I don't need you to be like scatterbrained and scared about it. And if the preferred method is text because it gets easier because it's 2024, then honestly, it is for me too. Honestly, now, and I hear this from people that are like, yeah, but what about having the paper trail? I take screenshots. Okay. If it's something big, I take a screenshot so that if there's ever a CYA at the end of a process, we're good.
Yeah. That's it.
I just
be
like,
able to
we like
adapt.
meeting them where they're at. We just like meeting them where they're at. That's all.
Yeah, I think there's something to being that flexible and creative, but it also aligns with how I work best. And part of the way I can be most responsive is through text. So
Yeah.
I know that about myself.
True.
So
That's true.
I just do it. It's honestly like unlimited email support is great. I don't like checking my email as much as I like checking my text. Right. And so even if someone texts me, hey, check your email, I'm like, oh, great. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like seriously. So like I just learned that about myself. But like think about that. Everyone's like that. And that's just because I'm busy.
Yeah.
So hiring managers are busy. Like we always ask, like, what's your preferred method of communication? Email, text, phone call, LinkedIn message. Hear what they got to say, and then just you run with it. Like all those things reduce friction points. It's all huge. It's all that stuff that matters. Those like little things again that it's not cold email, cold call. It's like stuff like that, like those nuances that you figure out your frameworks and your approaches.
Reducing friction points, though.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it. So, this is an RPO client. So this is an RPO client. They're paying me hourly. Okay. This is not contingency. And so, in thinking about how I'm approaching working with them, my whole job is to reduce the friction points as much as possible and make it as seamless as possible. So what do I do in the beginning? I have a big intake call where I ask all my questions, and I ask them all personally, because that sets the foundation for me understanding what it is you need and has the goalpost changed, right? We know about that, right? How goalposts change in mid-process, right? All of a sudden, now the numbers change, right? So it's like it's really level setting so that we have that foundational piece. And then throughout the process, again, like, hey, are you a fan of seeing more candidates or less? Would you want me to tackle most of the intake with them, or is that something that you want to handle? Like, make it a dealer's choice. Hey, are you somebody that likes to look at the resumes, or do you want me to look at them? Like, these are my questions. Hey, are you somebody that that likes to sell the candidate, or do you want me there's
you like
so
seeing LinkedIn profiles. You want to just see of who is responsive in the market, regardless of what they're looking for or anything else. I mean,
can I send you 10 profiles so we make sure we're on the same page?
Exactly. The dealer's choice is a really good way to put it. And that's like, you want to come up with it. And then it feels like it's a catered solution to them.
Doesn't it? Well, I learned this. People love options. You go to a restaurant. If there was 2 things on the menu, are you going back? No. You like that even though you're probably going to go get the same 2 things every time, you love the fact that you have all these options because it makes you feel like what you're buying, because we're not selling. So that's what I want them to feel like. I want my clients to feel like I'm not selling you shit. Sorry. I'm not selling you anything. I want you to buy. And the best way to do that is to give you a menu. So I'm giving them a menu
But
with all
then
these
how many
questions.
people give the Cheesecake Factory menu, but what they really want is, right, it's either a little bit the Michelin star or whatever. It's a one pager, but it's got everything you need on there
That's right.
and nothing you don't.
That's right. And so that's honestly like, so I used to work in a restaurant, but that's how I look at it. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're serving clients. We're serving clients, right? You know, when they come into a restaurant, they're coming in to alleviate a pain. They're hungry, right? Like seriously. And then what do? We alleviate it with food, and it makes them feel a certain way, right? They love it. It's emotion. They're buying, right? So they have all these options on a menu. And then through the emotional powers of their hunger, they buy what they want that they know is going to make them feel amazing. That's the same experience that you can provide for your client. You can give them a menu where, again, there's a couple things, but you know exactly what they need.
Options they want. It's either filet or tomahawk, right? They're picking between great options.
And they know whatever they eat, they're going to be satiated and they're going to feel good about it.
Yeah.
That's once you gotten to the point that you're in the intake call, that's the experience you should be providing.
And you know what else happens at a nice restaurant when you order a steak? What do you say? What does the chef recommend?
There you go.
And that's what they do with a great recruiter. I got 2-3 great options.
What do you recommend?
When you give them a different level of service, it happens.
And I hear it all the time because I've level set at the beginning, and they know that I've taken a very a catered approach. I've taken an active approach in the whole process. I've asked them tons of questions to make sure I've qualified what they want and who they are. And then I find them the candidates that are on point.
Yeah, you push back when you've needed to. You've given them the win when they've earned it, and they made it make sense. Like,
absolutely,
it becomes that rapport, that relationship. And then you might be asked, like, is that doable? Yes, it's doable. Like, profile, prospecting, messaging, automate some stuff, some more targeted manual outreach, some other stuff, and then content, right? And to the last point, content. What does the algorithm hate, Kevin, on LinkedIn?
Mm-hmm. The algorithm on LinkedIn hates self-serving content that you can tell is self-serving content,
or lazy, maybe too, like just posting graphics or articles or all that, or articles without sharing your opinion, right? Like,
well, it hates just reposting. Yeah, so that's a good point. You know, LinkedIn is the biggest, best social networking platform on earth, right? If it's just selfies, look, I'll be honest. I put selfies, but it's because I know this. You have to be smart, right? Like my selfie isn't just a selfie. It's like a hook to the setup, right?
Relating to the story.
It's relating to the story. So I think there's a way to do it. But yeah, so it's a social networking platform. And so it hates when people aren't taking an active approach in that. And if you guys have noticed lately, the algorithm is going more towards the intelligentsia part of it, right? The people that can build a brand on their skill set, but relate it to your pain, right? Again, not being all about you. So I'll say it's twofold. I think on this platform, and I think what applies to us, I'll give you the other application, but there's the application of some friends I have that kind of talk about their story, and then they're able to sell things off the back of their own, like their entire brand, all of them. And that still works here because it's good storytelling. But then for us, y'all, it's including you, but it's about them because you're alleviating their pain. So you're talking about practical and useful advice that relates to the pain that they have. So when you're talking about how fast you are, it's only as fast as you are because you're alleviating their pain, right? So that's why you're getting them 3 qualified candidates in 2 business days for that hiring manager that got the role on Monday and needed it filled by Friday. So you tell the story about how you got them the 3 qualified candidates in 2 business days, and one of them was the person they needed, and how they wouldn't have recognized that if they were that hiring manager that looked at 20 candidates. So you had to help them see that this, right? Now they want to listen to that story because like, oh, I'm tired of getting 20 candidates. I would love to just get 2 candidates and have my recruiter. So it's finding those stories that's practical and useful that apply situationally to them where you're not the hero, they are.
Yeah. Not posting someone else's jobs, not, so and so is hiring, or sharing another Forbes article that's pretty generic. It's just like, again, what are you going through? How are you solving problems in the market? And what insights can you share with them that they don't know about? And I think as recruiters, we know so much about the market and hiring market, especially within our vertical and niche, that managers have never been exposed to, or candidates have never been exposed to, right? But a key thing with BD, make sure you're talking to managers, not candidates.
But and even
all the time too.
For all these recruiters that post the win, I can't believe when I can't believe they don't post the story or like how it got to happen. Like,
right. Yes.
Like you just post the win that are roll like
what's the journey? What was the process? Like, where did they start? Right. The hero's journey. Excuse me, every step of the way. I mean, that's what people want to know. They want to know clarity. They want you have to spell it out for them too.
Yeah.
Like you're not giving away any secret sauce, right? Everyone knows the formula for recruiting.
Yeah.
Right. It's just executing it is a whole different ballgame.
I say it all the time. Amateurs look at the right side of the equal sign and professionals look at the left. It's not the result, it's how you got to the result that people care about.
Because that's what people can then imagine for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, if we're talking results, like I'm sure we're not even, I'm probably not even that impressive. Like if all you're after is results, I'm sure there's other people out there that have made tons and tens of million more dollars than I have. But I bet their approach to get there is going to be wildly, so it's
well, people want to enjoy who they work with.
That too. And that's why it's important to bring yourself online on social media, because now you have the opportunity to no trust.
All the noise, and what matters is authenticity. Right. And then you can figure out the rest and the timing and cash flow, if they have the budget to hire, yada, yada. But once you've established that, there's a good rapport there, and that you're an expert and consultant, and you know the right questions to ask and how to dig in, the rest is timing and figuring it out.
Yeah, probably if nothing else, you listen or learn, if anybody's still here. I think if everybody unpackaged how empathy plus authenticity can revolutionize your sales, automation, and content, so that you never have to worry about making a cold call again. Like, thinking about their worldviews, being radically candid about who you are and where you're at with your process, and then figuring out, auditing your own. Is it sales that you need? Be honest. Is it content that you need? Be honest. Is it automation that you need? Be honest. Like where's the gap in your process? Is it that you're not connecting with the right people? Do you need to connect with more of the right people so that your content can work for you? That it needs to have context too, right? It's not just content; it has to speak to them. Or is it sales? Do you need more business development? Did you use a lead gen service and now they're gone and now you don't know what's happening? But your sales and your content is amazing, so you got two legs. You're sitting on two legs. Like, where's the gap?
People really underestimate how much is possible on LinkedIn.
Oh God! Well, we talk to them every day. It's amazing.
All the time.
It's scarily amazing. I almost want to shake some people. It's amazing. Wake up. This is all you need to do. I just audited your process. I swear. We're almost like, I swear, if you just do this, I swear to God, it'll work.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
But again, what do we also talk about? Some people have to sit with that pain long enough, because it's the pain that drives people. It's the pain that drives people. That's why we alleviate it.
Well, and I love it when I see the light bulb moments. We always talk about those, right? I posted on Friday, someone, comes in and gets too busy and sidetracked, and you talk to them. Christina talks to them. I'm talking to them this week. And immediately was like, wow, you guys, thank you for the support and all these one-on-one calls. Like, got a campaign going, and she's already a great biller, but like, it's all in the right direction now.
Yep.
We all know that it's going to get there. And if you're kind of just racing around, and you could be, $500,000 biller, $1 million biller, 100K, 50K. But man, that feeling you get when you realize you have a plan and a vision and a system, and it's just a matter of time. Oof, that's That's to me is the funnest part. I mean, I know the results will come, but then knowing that you have a direction is amazing, right? I think for me, feeling directionless for a long time,
Yeah.
then having that, everything, so many things start to fall into place, right? And like that feeling is exciting because then the potential, the opportunities really start to become limitless. And I think when you have that reframe, right, it's almost like the healthy man wants 1,000 things, and the unhealthy man wants one, right, or the sick man wants one, right. So if you can get out of that mindset where you're almost like sick from not having a system and an approach, a plan, one thing that you got to figure out, then poof, then like 1,000 things open up to you.
And then it just becomes one step at a time.
Yeah.
You're just like knocking one. It does, because it becomes less cluttered. That's why it's 1,000 things, because it's so cluttered of like it's even like and I've been here so many times where you're trying to like get cash flow up while get the business up. And so you're in this place of the past and the present, anxiety and depression, right? You're never present. You're almost never present because you're worried about the future cash flow. You're stuck in the past of what hasn't worked, and you're never actually fully present. So that's where the juice is, when you can be present. And I've definitely noticed it. I mean, and we talk about it. I talk about my business 9 months ago, kind of going flatline, and then having to get back to this place of not being in the past and not being in the future, but being present. And these last 4 or 5 months of just being here, knocking one thing down at a time, being like, okay, boom, now we can progress one step higher on the ladder. Okay, now 1% higher. And then just little by little understanding that that's actually that consistency of getting 1% better, looking at, the whole approach, sales, content, automation. That's where things come amazing. And you don't get there until you realize a lot of this stuff we're talking about, that again, you're not the hero. And the reason why you probably are anxious is because you're putting yourself in this place. What do I have to do? What do I have to say? But it's not about you. And if you can just get yourself out of thinking it has to do with you, that's like, I swear to gosh, that's where the magic happens. The moment you realize, like, oh gosh, you mean I don't have to do this all? You don't, because all you're doing is just. What was that?
That's funny. And Brad's got to hop off, but he's gonna be cooking this week. We're gonna see him Friday. We're gonna see what's
Absolutely.
up. And
cooking.
Great way to end it.
Cooking, Bradley.
Whoever's tuning in, I know we had some people in here, so appreciate you guys tuning in.
As always, I know it's a Monday. I know.
No, trying to spice it up, make you think a little bit and get you excited about crypto, about shoe reveal, and throwing some
baseball is coming.
Throwing some BP. We got opening day in a couple weeks.
Baseball's coming.
We got March Madness this week, which we even talked about.
Can't wait. I got both.
Oh man, dude, I got to build a bracket or do something. I don't think I haven't done the one in like 3 years.
For the first time I can ever remember, my wife's like, "Hey, you ready to get your bracket?" I was like, "What did you just say to me? What did you just say? Did you bet money?" Oh, okay. She bet money. Okay, now you want to fill a bracket out. Oh, okay.
Let's get it going. Bracket.
All these other years when I was like, "Baby, I'm watching my games," it was a problem. Now you're filling out brackets. Okay, gotcha.
Hey, whatever gets them on board, man. Whatever gets them on board.
Baby.
But always a pleasure. This was
appreciate
fun.
y'all.
This was good.
Mandy, Mandy, and then there was let me see. There was Bradley, and then there was Mandy.
Bradley and Mandy.
Y'all killed it for us. Thank you. Yeah. Happy Monday, everybody. See you guys Friday. You have any questions? You're curious about anything?
You can book a call with the QR code. Go to our profiles. Book a call with us.
You can DM us. It's cool.
Let's do it. Shoot us a DM. Yeah. It's all good.
If we said something controversial, ask us. It's all good. No, I don't care.
I don't know.
Maybe we didn't.
I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. All right. Have a good one. See you Friday. Have a great week. See y'all.